All right, so something I've done for years that I think has really helped me keep my shoulders healthy and stop me from really feeling any shoulder pain when I do any pushing exercises is warm up my shoulders every time I'm working my upper body. And I even do it sometimes when I'm working out my lower body. Like I said, it's just something that I think personally has kept my shoulders safe. So the first thing I'll do is band wraparounds. I take a band, really it can be a PVC pipe or any type of band. Get a little bit of tension, have the arms straight. You're gonna loop it all the way around till the band touches your butt and all the way back around. You're trying to keep your arms straight as you do this so you can feel a big stretch in the shoulders and the chest. This is what it looks like from the side. All the way around, all the way back. So normally I would do that for like 10 to 15 reps. What I'm looking for here is that it should feel easier to go all the way around when I'm done compared to when I start. So when you first start, it may feel tight, especially if you just worked your upper body recently, and you're trying to do this until it feels a little bit smoother. So once I'm done with that, I'll move on to band pull-aparts. So that same hand position, arms straight, keeping tension in the band. You're gonna pull till the band gets to nipple level with your arms straight, and then return back to where there's still tension in the band. Don't let the band get loose like this. Keep it with a little bit of tension. Squeeze back. Here's a side view. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep my palms facing the ground, which is gonna really fire up those rear delts. So once again, about 10 to 15 reps, just trying to go until it feels better than when I started. When you have a good burn in the back of your shoulder blades and also the back of your shoulders, that's how you know you've done enough. Next up, I'll move on to face pulls. So I'm gonna loop this band around a post, and this will be my starting position. Okay, so I have a band looped. So I'm gonna start with my arms straight and where there's tension in the band. I'm gonna pull wide with my elbows and finish by pulling hard with my hands. You wanna finish so that it's a straight line from your wrists down to your elbows. And as I pull, I'm gonna breathe out and try to keep my head up. Squeeze on the shoulder blades, hold for a second, return. So just like everything else, you wanna do this until you got a really good burn, 10 to 15 reps. You're gonna feel this in the back of the shoulders and your shoulder blade area. And you wanna keep your head up so that you're not in this position where you're working your upper traps a whole lot. You wanna feel more of this in the back of the shoulders and mid-back. Your upper traps are gonna work some because you can't do the movement without working your upper traps, but you don't want that to get tired first. Then from there, I will move on to external rotations. So I'm gonna loop that band through itself. So now I have tension in the band all the way connecting to the post. I want my elbow to be to the side, my chest is up. I'm trying to rotate my hand out until I feel a good burn and tightness in the back of my shoulders and my shoulder blade. So what I'm looking for here is that my rotator cuff is ready for any work that I'm gonna do in my upper body. And again, I do this multiple times a week. And this is a good way to make sure I'm working on muscle imbalance from all the pushing that I'm doing throughout the week. Okay, then you get the other side. Here's another view for you. So my chest is up and I'm rotating out, keeping the elbow locked into the side, going into like a good burn back here. You could probably see that muscle engaging. Okay, so then I'm gonna work my rotator cuff in a different way, doing upward rotations. So starting with my elbow high and wide, I wanna keep my elbow locked into place and just rotate my hand back until it's a straight line from here to here. And again, you're gonna feel that rotator cuff area, back of the shoulder, shoulder blade area. That's what you wanna feel working. So this is another thing that I personally have seen keeps my shoulders feeling great during all my workouts. Is when I have those smaller muscles in my back ready to go, I'm able to push heavy weight and really have no pain at all. I used to have a lot of pain when bench pressing in my shoulders, and since I started doing this, I really have never had pain since. Once you got a good burn, switch sides. Go ahead and work this side. Okay, so that would be the normal upper body warm-up routine I would do, and then I move on to actually touching some weight. All right, so the first thing I would do for my back workouts is always pull-ups. I do this when I'm the most fresh, so I can get the most out of it, and this will help me feel a connection in my lats. So what I'm thinking about here is trying to keep my chest up as high as I can get it. You wanna get the center of your chest up high. Don't really worry about your chin. because the goal is to work your lats, not to get a high amount of reps. And I'm also thinking pull my elbows down into my sides instead of just pulling with my hands and trying to get my hands as low as I can. I'm thinking, can I squeeze my elbows any harder into my sides? And then the last little tip I would have is to keep your legs in front of your body. You want to think about having your feet together and legs in front of the body. And what that's going to do is take your pelvis from this position to this position, which engages your core. And that's going to help you be more stable, and that's going to help prevent you from swinging. So you may have noticed that when you're doing pull-ups, you might swing some. If your legs are in front of your body, that's going to stop that from happening. So this is how it looks. All right, so with a row, that's usually what I will start with after my warm-up, because you want to spend more time doing horizontal rowing versus vertical pulling on your back days. That will keep your shoulders a little bit safer and more balanced than if you spend the majority of your time doing vertical. So I usually start off with something that's heavy because I am most fresh right now. So I will do maybe 2 to 3 sets of heavy weight with a row. And then I would do 2 to 3 sets of a lighter weight with a row. So I'm getting some of that strength building and also some of that hypertrophy, higher rep work. So when I'm pulling with this, I want to think about my elbow going back and squeezing into my armpit as hard as possible. I'm also thinking about pulling my chest forward as I pull. So that will keep me from having a rounded back and doing this. Instead, I'm sitting upright and going here. That will give you a better squeeze. So this is what it looks like. So as I'm pulling, I'm breathing out. I'm thinking elbows leading the way. Squeeze the back. Squeeze the back. Not pulling with my hands and my elbows going out wide, which looks like this. But squeezing back with the elbows. All right, so now I am up to my heavy weight. Got 345s on there and a 25, so this will be heavy. And something you'll see that I do is use a little bit of a rock back with my lower back, like this, to start the rep, and I finish it by pulling myself forward. Now when I do that, that's gonna make me finish with my elbows behind my body, which is exactly the position I wanna be in to get the most out of the exercise. So it is cheating the rep, but I am controlling it and still getting the squeeze. Now what you don't wanna do is lean back and stay leaning back when you pull, where you look like this, because now you're just working the biceps and the forearms. But when you go a certain heaviness on the weight, you won't be able to get back far unless you use a little bit of that cheat. So that's what you'll see here. I'm trying to pull as fast as humanly possible and crank them out. The goal is 6 to 8. So got 8 reps. So what I'll do is, since I was able to get the most amount of what I was trying to get, I will stay with that weight. So I'll do at least one more set with that weight. If I'm able to get 6 to 8 again, I will do the set again. So as long as I can stay in 6 to 8, I keep going. And then once I can't get 6 to 8, then I will drop the weight down and get to my lighter sets. And normally I would do that drop of about maybe 30% of the weight dropping off. But I'm gonna keep this going for another 1 to 2 sets. All right, so now I got the heavy sets done. My back is already on fire, feeling tight. So now is when I get the hypertrophy work in. I went down 245s each side. And I'm trying to focus more on squeezing. I'm still pulling fast, but I am trying to get more of a squeezing sensation every single rep since it's not heavy. And I try to use a little bit less momentum. And with the heavy weight, I'm trying to go 6 to 8. With the lighter weight, I'm trying to go at least 10 reps, preferably 15 plus, but I don't know how this is gonna go. We'll just see. All right, so got 16, and once again, I'm gonna do 2 to 3 sets of this weight. If I see that the reps are dropping off, then I'll stop the exercise. All right, so now that the horizontal pulling is done, I'm going to vertical pulling. So something I've been loving lately is doing single arm for my vertical pulling and doing a little bit of a different angle. So I use this lat pull down machine, turn to the side. What you do is try to get a full extension at the top, arm is straight, and think about squeezing your elbow into your armpit as hard as possible, keeping your chest up. Looks like this. As I'm pulling down, I'm breathing out, and hold for a second, control it on the way back up. And then you get both sides. So with these on my sets, instead of doing a couple heavier sets and a couple lighter sets, I like to do straight sets with these, going for 8 to 12 reps. Usually I get 3 to 5 sets, and then once I can't get the lowest number of that rep range, then I go right into a drop set. So that way I'm getting some moderately heavy weight, but also by the end of the whole exercise, I'm getting a lot of reps in, again, getting that hypertrophy. So let's see how this goes. 2 plates on. I'll show you both sides. There, actually doesn't feel that bad. May get 12 here. 4, 5, 8, 12. Okay, now showing the other side. Woo. Four. 8, 10, 11, 12. All right, so got the vertical pulling done. So the checklist of the back, we're gonna do a horizontal pull, preferably more horizontal pulling than vertical. Want to do a vertical pull. Then you also want to hit the traps. So some people like to do traps on the shoulders. Some people like to do it on their back day. I like to do it on both. There's no way to become trapzilla unless you're working the traps often. So I'm doing shrugs. With this, I try to go heavy, but I try to do a weight I can actually control and try to get somewhere above 10 reps. Some days are good, some days are bad, but above 10 is your goal. Any heavier than that, you're not really getting that time under tension that you really want to maximally develop your traps. So when I do it, firm grip with my hands, chest up nice and tall, lift up, hold for 2 seconds, back down, get a full stretch. Breathe out when I go up, breathe in. I'm trying to go more than 10 reps. Let's see what I can get here. Try to really feel that squeeze. Just ask yourself, if someone gave you $1 million, could you shrug any higher? If the answer is yes, try to do that. Don't cheat yourself out the reps. Got a couple more in me. 2 more. So with these, I will do somewhere between 3 to 5 sets, depending on how it feels. If I can keep my reps up, I'll keep going. If my reps drop off a whole lot, then I stop. All right, next up we have rear delts. So I like to use the pec fly or reverse fly machine and do one arm at a time. What I'm looking for is to feel the contraction in the back of my shoulders the whole time. You want to keep the angle of your elbow the same throughout the movement. You don't want to bend your elbow more, and you don't want to extend it more as you do it. If you do either of those things, you're gonna not get the most out of the movement. And I'm trying to angle my body so that I'm pinned and locked into place. So I grab on, right here I'm getting a full stretch already, and I'm starting where there is tension already in my shoulder. So don't let it go all the way back to where the plates stack on top of each other and you're resting. You want to keep a little bit of tension. From here, I'm thinking about controlling it with the back of my shoulder. And then when I come back, I'm maintaining that tension the whole time, keeping that control. You don't want to go real fast with these because then you won't feel the muscle working hard. And with these, you try to do at least 12 reps, 12 to 20, trying to keep it in that range. All right, guys, so for the most part, that is a normal back routine for me. You're hitting all the important parts. You're getting the horizontal pull, the vertical pull. You're getting some single arm with that. You're getting the rear delts and the traps. You do that and you try to progressively overload for a long duration, you will see back growth. And it's helped me get my back from pretty narrow to what I would say is decent size and also decent definition. So try out this back workout. If you have any questions, let me know.